Are you tired of feeling like your hard earned money is slipping through your fingers? Want to harness the true power of your six-figure salary to build wealth and achieve your dreams? Look no further. In this eye opening video, we'll unveil the secrets to budgeting success that will transform your financial journey forever. Join me as we guide you through the step by step process, strategies, and mindset shifts needed to make every dollar count. So, it's time to, do better with your finances, maximize your earning, and unleash the full potential of your nice salary to create the lifestyle you dream of and desire. Get ready to create a budget that empowers you to live life on your terms and turn your financial dreams into an awe inspiring reality. All right, let's budget like a boss and unlock the financial freedom by mastering the art of budgeting your six-figure salary. Stay tuned to the end to learn some fun stuff that you don't want to miss. These are the same tips and tricks, strategies, and tools that my students have used to get results like Jen, who was able to pay off over $20,000 in just a few months implementing these strategies, shifting her mindset, and putting herself in a good position financially, but also mentally and emotionally. And she also increased her credit score to over 750. Freaking amazing. Let's dive right in. So, this sheet is just a sheet that I have created and developed over time with the support of my team to make it really easy to see what's going on with your money on paper, on purpose, and the numbers tell a story. And I will walk us through exactly how to do this on this sheet and then you can create whatever works best for you, but this is one way to look at your numbers and make sure that you understand what's going on and how to project what you want to see happen moving forward. So, in every section, you can see that there's a projected column and there's an actual column. And the projections are a guesstimate, right? That's what your budget is. You're guessing that this is what's going to happen, and then you track and you take note and observe what actually happened to compare. And don't expect, right? One mindset shift right here at the top for these to be exactly the same. Life happens, things shift and change. One of the things I always tell my bonus daughter is plans change. So you're going to create a plan and then be open to it being flexible, knowing that it might alter or adjust. So for the example's sake, I have already filled in some numbers here based off of someone making six figures. So let's say they're bringing $10,000 home a month that they project, and actual might be different because you might have a bonus, you might have commission, you might make less for some reason, so on and so forth. But we're guessing that you're going to bring home $10,000 this month. We're going to project that these are the expenses. These are just your necessary expenses, right? And so we'll go through the rest of the columns as well, but grouping these sections out this way is also going to help keep the wolf away from the door because sometimes it feels so overwhelming when you have, maybe debt and different things like that, that you're like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to pay everything. Let's focus on your necessities first, and then we can go from there. So if what we do is you fill in your necessary expenses, your fixed expenses first. My sheet does the math. You can do this on your phone, you can do this on paper, so on and so forth. You could do this through a budgeting app, but this is what I'm going to show you right now. And then we put in what we believe we're going to make. In our sheet here, when there is less than, it'll turn red, so then we know that we're in the negative. So I'm going to put that $10,000 back. And right off the top here, we have data. So $10,000 brought in, Brooke needing 8,800 to live on means that there's a gap between our necessary fixed finances or fixed expenses and what we bring in. There's a $1,200 gap between what we make and what we bring home. Do you have a gap between what you make and what you bring home when it comes to your fixed expenses alone? The bigger the gap, the more funds, the more cash flow you have to direct toward whatever your financial goals are. So if this was $5,000 brought home, but 8,800 needed to live on, what does that tell us? This is the story our numbers begin to tell us when we understand what's going on. Okay. So if we're making less than we need to live on, we're going to be in the hole every month. This is why we'll use credit cards. This is why we're stressed and feel like our back is against the wall. This is very straightforward in that we can't really cut these expenses. These are our fixed expenses. We haven't put in, subscriptions. We haven't put in uh, travel. We haven't put in our goals to pay down debt or to save. So this is going to be really eye-opening for us to see. So let's say you're bringing home $10,000. We know there's a $1,200 gap right now. What we do next after we've put our projected, necessary expenses is our additional expenses. So let's say you have registration due this month, and it's going to begin to change here numbers wise as we put stuff out. Dining out, let's say you enjoy dining out and that you want to have a $500 budget for that, right? All right, let's see, miscellaneous, we'll put 100 just for fun. And now we see, right, that after our additional expenses, we have $400 left. All right. Now, food might be something for that's $1,000 a week, right? We might be able to adjust while we're looking at things. So when you put these numbers down, you start getting up the lay of the land. You can start to see what you can play with to some extent. I obviously was generous when I put this here, and we might say, oh no, I only have $400 to account for paying down my debt and saving, investing, things like that. We might say, okay, you know what? Let's shoot for $2,000 with food, and that gives me $2,400 to hit all of my other goals. Yes? So make sure to pause this, go back and rewatch it, ask your questions in the comments if you have any, um, and that way I can attend to them and kind of give you my insight. But I just wanted to walk through an actual example so that you can see how I work things through with my students and what helps them get amazing results like Jen. Um, so what we do next is put in our, debts here. So let's say that our minimum payment for our credit card is 300. Let's say our student loans is 500. Let's say our car payment is, another 350, and that we're going to, leave it at that, right? Because we know we're paying for our home up here, so we'll leave that be. So now after debt, right, it has left us with 1250 to go toward paying down debt additionally, like paying down our debt faster, as well as saving money. So let's say right now the goal amount for the example's sake is to save $1,000. Total current is nothing. A lot of people don't have an emergency fund. So let's say you just used your emergency fund because life, and you want to build it back up. Amount left to reach your goal is 1,000, right? If we change this to 500, you'll see that the numbers change, right? So we'll start with 0 here. Amount left to save is 1,000. Months left to reach goal. So you get to decide how much you want to put toward that, every month. If you want to do it in a month, it's 1,000. If you want to do it in 2 months, it's 500. If you want to do it in 4 months, it's 250 a month, right? And so even if we put that our goal is 5,000 and we started with 0 and we want to do it in 6 months, it's going to tell us exactly, 5,000, what has to happen monthly in order to hit this goal. If we want to save 5,000 in 6 months, we want to save 10,000 in 6 months, if we want to save, in 12 months. So it's going to recalculate the numbers for us. So you creating your own version of this might be helpful for you, so that you can kind of begin to see. And then you'll see amount to save, 833 a month here, 33.33 now gives us some adjusted numbers. So now we know we are taking care of our necessary expenses, our additional expenses, our debts are being paid down, we're saving, and we still have 416.67 to pay down debt faster, to add to a different category, put the money where you want it to go, because this is a zero-based budget. I like to think of taking your values into account as well. What do you really value and want to see happen in your life? So here's where we start making projections, is that if it's July and we know that we're going to save 833.33 a month, then we know that if we do this, right, for 6 months, 833.33. Now it tells us what we're going to be able to see happen with our bank accounts and with our goals. Long term. We know we'll have saved about $5,000 by the end of the calendar year, right? And then if we say we want to put the 416.67 toward, let's say, our debt, We'll put 4, 16, 67 in the other column down here, and it takes us to 0. Now it's a zero-based budget. And now we can say, okay, additionally on my debt, if I put that here, 416, 60, oops, 67, on top of your minimum payments, oh dear, there we go, boom. You'll have paid off an additional, right, $2,500 on your debt by the end of the calendar year. And so this is just one way to see what's going on with your money and be able to attend to your financial goals and really be able to see what is happening. But before you even get to doing the numbers, the number one thing people need to do is audit. Audit! Why? Because you can't tell your money where you want it to go until you figure out where it's been going. So, where has the money been going the last 1, 3, 6 months? And are there any mental and emotional factors that come into play that have contributed to how you spent money? So, once you audit, which I would suggest doing before you dive into your numbers, then you're going to be able to make such more accurate and clear projections. And then what happens half the time is that people will budget and they'll do all of this calculating and nice planning and stuff. Then you have to track. So now you have to go through and how much did you actually make? How much did you actually spend in these columns? How much did you actually set aside? And how much did you actually pay towards your debt? So on and so forth. And so that makes this process, is why I call it the mindful money system, because it's not just the budget alone. The budget is like one chair of or one leg of a chair. You can't sit down in a chair that has one leg. You need to have the audit as a leg on the chair. You need to have the planning as a leg on the chair. You need to have the, checking in and the tracking as a leg on the chair, and your mindset. And that makes it so that you can sit in this chair without falling and really just do an experiment with your life to see where you can get financially. If you have a variable income, before we wrap up and do our little recap, if you have a variable income that changes, then I would say do your planning based on the average that you make. So, what's the average of what you made in the last 1, 3, 6, 12 months? And then make your projections off of that when you put this here. So, if you're like, on average, I make 10K a month, but sometimes I make 15K and sometimes I make, 8K. What is the median, average, middle number? And do your projections based off that. If you actually make 15,000, right? That's going to change your numbers over here. And then you're going to be able to see the difference and come back in wherever you're doing your budgeting, see how it's changing the numbers here. Um, that's going to help you be able to see, oh, wow, I have more money I can put toward things. If this changes and it's 9,000, then it's going to change our numbers a little bit. So you want to be thinking about the system that supports your money and your financial freedom journey, not just one thing, which is the budget. How much time are you setting aside daily or weekly to make sure you're looking at your numbers, checking in, and hitting your goals, right? So, just a quick recap is you want to audit first. Make sure that you audit what's going on with your finances first. Then, once you audit, you can do projections, right? What do you think is going to happen in the month? After you make your projections, based off of your audit, when you see where your money's going and then why it went there, then you want to be tracking throughout the month to see where the money is going and keeping a clear idea of where your mindset is when it comes to money so that you can continue to do this experiment for here on out, because it's not a one time, thing. It's month in, month out, creating a unique plan to help you create financial freedom and independence. If you're ready for change in your life and you want to kind of chat through your own numbers, we actually do this in our strategic consultation calls for prospective students for our program. Make sure to click the link in the description to apply to chat with our team. If it seems like you might be the right fit, then you'll get to hop on a call with me or someone trained by me on my team to have a conversation with you about your financial goals and really help you get more clear, if nothing else, on what your next steps are and potentially talk about what it could look like for us to support you if it makes sense. Otherwise, we just want to serve you and see you win. Thanks for being here. I appreciate your time and attention. Drop in the comments whatever questions, comments, concerns you have when it comes to, managing your money, budgeting in particular. Subscribe, like, share, all those fun things, and I will see you next time.